You know this face. It's the worldwide symbol of digital rebellion, worn by hackers and anti-establishment protesters from London to Los Angeles. But long before the internet existed, this face belonged to a real 17th-century man standing in the dark. Guy Fawkes stood over 5,000 pounds of gunpowder, ready to trigger a subterranean blast designed to incinerate the king and the entire legislative body. The mask, now synonymous with digital activism, originally belonged to a man tasked with executing the most ambitious act of political violence in the nation's history. In the early 1600s, practicing Catholicism in England was a massive risk. The state actively hunted down the religion's followers. King James I weaponized the legal system against them, imposing punishing fines that caused immediate financial ruin and throwing those who refused to comply directly into prison. Pushed entirely into a corner, a Catholic gentleman named Robert Catesby decided peaceful resistance was useless. He wanted a violent, absolute solution. This historical map illustrates the dense, packed layout of the Houses of Parliament. Catesby realized that on the opening day of the legislative session, the king, the royal family, and every major political leader would be trapped together inside this single structure. Catesby targeted the entire political establishment for a single, total erasure, aiming to trigger a national reset by decapitating the government in one firestorm. The conspirators found a terrifyingly simple loophole. They managed to secure the lease to a dark, unused storage vault situated directly beneath the floorboards of the House of Lords. This diagram shows how they weaponized the space. They smuggled in 36 barrels, packing the chamber with 5,000 pounds of gunpowder. If ignited, the outward pressure wouldn't just burn. It would blow floorboards upward at supersonic speeds, turning thick masonry walls into deadly shrapnel. To ensure this massive device detonated correctly, Catesby recruited a hardened military explosives expert. His name was Guy Fawkes. With the room rented, the powder stacked, and an expert holding the matches, a radical idea officially became a fully primed, inescapable trap. On the freezing damp night of November 4th, the cellar was completely silent. Fawkes sat alone in the pitch black, isolated underground with 5,000 pounds of explosives. He checked his timepiece, and he held his matches. At this exact moment, the conspiracy had succeeded. They were completely undetected, and the target was asleep just miles away. The plotting was done. The mechanism was perfect. All Fawkes had to do was wait for the sun to come up. But days earlier, someone inside the group made a fatal error. An anonymous letter was quietly delivered to a Catholic lord, warning him to avoid Parliament. That cryptic warning leaked directly to King James. The total secrecy surrounding the plot instantly shattered, sending waves of panic through the royal palace. The king ordered a massive sweep of the area. Just after midnight, heavily armed royal guards burst violently into the subterranean vault. There, they found Fawkes standing beside a massive pile of firewood meant to camouflage the barrels. The matches were still in his pocket. Years of meticulous strategy and thousands of pounds of perfectly placed powder were completely undone by a single moment of misplaced loyalty. Fawkes was dragged directly to the Tower of London. After days of brutal interrogation, he was publicly executed for high treason against the crown. To ensure the public never forgot this plot, the king ordered the nation to light bonfires every year on November 5th to celebrate his survival. By turning the traitor into a mandatory annual effigy, the state unintentionally preserved his face for 400 years of street festivals and bonfires. Fast forward 4 centuries, and that infamous stylized face is back, adopted by anonymous activists staging digital raids against the world's most powerful institutions. So look at the mask one last time. Does it represent the ultimate historical underdog fighting a corrupt system, or a deeply dangerous extremist who nearly leveled a city?